These cookies are big. How big? Extremely big. 6 ounces a pop. I'm telling you, if you're not prepared for these cookies, just stop. Don't even try this recipe. If anyone leaves a comment on this recipe, can I make these cookies smaller? The answer is no! Hey everybody, we're here today with some really epic cookies. These are Levain-Style copycat chocolate chip cookies, fashioned after a bakery in New York that makes these giant monster cookies. These cookies are no joke. They came not to play, but to slay. You can kill a man with these cookies. Not that you should, but if you needed to, it would certainly get the job done. It would also make for an interesting game of Clue. This cookie is the size of my face. Is my face entirely blocked out?
Yeah.
Amazing. We're making this cookie dough. It's really easy because there's a stand mixer and it does all the work for us. We're gonna throw in all these ingredients. First up, some light brown sugar. This is the kind of situation where light brown sugar matters. Dark brown sugar is gonna have molasses content that's a little too high and it's gonna cause the cookies to spread more. We want these cookies to stay thick. Crowd favorite here, SeriousEats.com, toasted sugar. This recipe does not require toasted sugar. If you don't have any, don't worry about it. You can start making cookies right now with plain white sugar. It's not gonna be a real deal breaker if you don't have it. But if you do, push it over the top. Salt, baking powder, and baking soda. Next up, a little bit of butter. A little bit, it's a whole stick. It's a 1/4 pound of butter. It's plenty of butter. There it is. It's been softened to cool room temperature, about 60, 65 degrees. Vanilla. Gonna do a whole dang tablespoon. That's a 1/2 ounce for y'all doing the math at home. A little bit of a secret ingredient here is an extremely small amount of nutmeg. We're talking the smallest amount of nutmeg. It's like 0.1 grams if we were to weigh it out. Nutmeg has this cool power where it makes butter taste more buttery. So that's why we're putting it in here. If you can taste the nutmeg, you've added too much. Don't overdo it. This is a real delicate matter. So I'm just going, that's it. Okay, gonna pop this on the mixer. Trusty paddle attachment. I'm gonna start out on low speed just to get everything combined and then crank it up to medium so we can get some light and fluffy business going on. Gonna crank up the speed. Just waiting for that light and fluffy magic. These are eggs straight from the fridge. I'm kind of cavalier and I'm just gonna crack them straight in. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can crack them into a little bowl and then tip them in. Boop. When it starts to smooth back out, it's time for egg number 2. Boop. Gonna decrease the speed here to low and add our all-purpose flour. Once the flour is mostly incorporated, it's time to add the walnuts, raw walnuts. If you're using pecans, I'd recommend toasting them first. If you've been baking with me long on SeriousEats.com or in my book, Brave Tart, you'll know that I'm a big fan of chopped chocolate in cookies, so you might be surprised to see that I'm using chocolate chips in this recipe. Historically, in America, chocolate chips have been made of a very low quality chocolate. It tends to be a little bit harsh and unbalanced. Nowadays, there are a lot of different chocolate chips on the market, and in fact, I have made my own chocolate chip blend using 8 different brands of chocolate chips. So you know, we've got like some big guys and some little guys, some chocolate chunks. This recipe has more chocolate than butter and sugar combined. So for that reason, using a mix of different chocolates is really gonna make the flavor pop overall. Instead of every single bite tasting like the exact same chocolate, you get some different nuances and it really adds some depth of flavor. It creates a more interesting chocolate profile. That's it. All right, so these cookies are 6 ounces a pop. Just got a little wax paper on the scale here so I don't have to wash it in between uses. Here goes 5 1/8 ounces. I was close. I was close. 6 1/8, that's like 1 chocolate chip too many. Shout out to my friend Cheryl, who described this as a threatening amount of cookie dough. Anyhow, it's time for a little dough wrangling. These monsters need to be wrestled into some spherical-like shape, so the best way to do that is by hand. If you guys are squeamish and don't want to touch dough, I don't know why you're baking. Just round it up into a nice spherical shape. Plop it on a baking sheet. We're not baking them right now. This is a type of dough that benefits from aging overnight in the fridge. Kind of helps kickstart Maillard browning so the cookies get some nice color in the oven. It also helps keep them nice and thick. Lets the flours hydrate, promotes a little bit of chewiness. I'm just gonna cover these in plastic and I'll see you tomorrow. Whole day has passed, if you can even believe it. I know it seems like only seconds. This is some dough that has been chilling for 24 hours in the fridge. You can tell I'm not lying because that's the thud of 6 ounces of chocolate chip cookie dough intimidation. I'm only baking 4 because there's not that many people here at Serious Eats today. And there's no way all 8 cookies will be eaten. We would die. All right, gonna pop these in the oven. See you later. Look at these 3 perfect angels and a hellspawn. We have 3 perfect cookies and 1 intentional screw up. So, in case you're wondering what happened here, this cookie is what happens when you don't roll up the dough. After portioning all the dough, I roll it into a nice smooth ball. That ensures the cookie spreads at a slow, even rate and it keeps them nice and thick. If the dough is just left in a rough hodgepodge pile, this is what happens. It spreads every which way and it spreads a lot thinner. So if you've ever wondered why someone went to the trouble to write such an obnoxious detail in a recipe, this is why. These cookies are so thick and chunky that using a thermometer is a really good way to test them to make sure that they're fully cooked. You want to see them somewhere in the upper 170s to low 180s. It's weighty, it's a 6-ounce wad of dough. It's hefty and it's loaded with chocolate chips and walnuts. The gang is all here, guys. So thanks for joining me on this emotional roller coaster as we tackled the largest cookies known to man. These cookies can end a person. But we're here, we're alive, we made them. Well, I did. And you can too.